छुपी बहुत हुई.
My dream was to sing along with Lata ji, and that also came true with Luka Chuppi.
The late Paji came all the way from Delhi next evening, and he'd ordered a mix of Chinese, some Hakka noodle and tandoori chicken. So the spirit of the revolutionaries of the 1920s have entered or merged with the spirit of the generation of today. And now both the lines are blurred. You don't choose your friends because they belong to a certain religion. And that's where Rang De Basanti becomes so relevant today. बहुत दिनों से है मशगला सियासत का कि जब जवां हो बच्चे तो कत्ल हो जाएं.
Tracking milestones of an incredible journey spanning more than 3 decades. Rahman Music Sheets. Hi friends, discover the top take as we uncover the wow factor in this episode. Do watch it till the end to grab this musical moment of the day. Starting his professional life as a salesman of vacuum cleaners, Rakeysh Omprakash Mehra entered the world of media, making advertising films, music videos, and then in 2001, his first feature film, Ux. 5 years later came Rang De Basanti. In 2006, it was released on 26th January, the Republic Day of India. In an industry where a bound script was yet to become a practice, Rakeysh Omprakash Mehra did something that was unheard of, at least in the world of Hindi films.
I always believed there were 2 kinds of men in this world. Men who go to their deaths screaming, and men who go to their deaths in silence. And then I met the 3rd kind.
I heard the film before I shot it. So yeah, no, it was a sweet accident of destiny. We were supposed to start shooting in early January, and I got a bout of jaundice, so the shoot had to be pushed. So now we had all the dates from the artist and everything. So I said, hey guys, let's just hold a workshop till I can stand on my feet. So wearing my dark glasses, because jaundice gives you all those yellow eyes and all that, it was possible for me to be in Mehboob studio, in the recording studio, the historical recording studio, which was shut down. So we opened it. There was no recording instrument, but it was sound intelligent. It had been built by the great Mehboob Khan himself. And there's a huge history in that room. Some greatest of the songs have been created there, and background music by Naushad, by Madan Mohan, by Lakshmi ji, Pyarelal ji, it's by Lata ji has sung there, Mohammad Rafi, the greats of our time. And imagine Mother India has been scored there. So day 1 we just read our lines. Day 2 started getting better at it. The entire crew was there, the entire cast was there, because their dates were there and they were all very happy to come. Day 3, day 4, I took the back seat and let them just go through their lines, and as such. And the brilliant sound designer Nakul Kamte, I have to give it to him. In the meantime, he kept recording everything, and whatever he felt was okay. At the end of these 6-7 days, he just gave it to me and he said, hear your film, see what you've done. I heard it and I took the next flight to Chennai and I played it to AR. I said, this is how it's kind of turning out, and he took it to the next level. He played the soundtrack and he started composing. And in those 13 days, we had the skeleton of all the songs. No lyrics, nothing. And background music. Now when I was shooting the film, the music was already playing in my ears.
A product of Delhi's Air Force Bal Bharti School, Rakeysh aspired to join the Indian Air Force. Ironically, Rang De Basanti at its core had MiG-21 fighter aircraft that were crashing and bursting into balls of fire. Media had dubbed them as the Widow Maker.
There's a situation where Wahida ji gets the Indian flag of Madhavan, who has lost his life in a MiG aircraft crash, and it's his funeral ceremony. And yeah, it's a painful situation. And what does AR do? He says, Mr. Mehra, you know, it reminds me of, where are you, my blue-eyed boy? I said, and said, yeah, it feels like that. It feels much more than a funeral ceremony. It's a mother who's lost her son and is looking for a son, and a son is singing back to her. So the son's voice became A.R. Rahman, and the mother was none other than Lata Didi. And he composed the song, he did the sargam, then we did the lyrics on that, and then Lata ji came, and it's a duet, and she rehearsed the song. That is the greatness of Lata ji. She called me up and she said, बेटा मैं चेन्नई जाके रिकॉर्ड कर सकती हूँ. मैंने कहा नहीं, वो AR ने कहा था वो खुद ही बॉम्बे आ जाएंगे, आप क्यों तकलीफ उठा रही हैं? कहते नहीं, वो उनके स्पेस में ही जाना अच्छा है. So, and that's how humble she was. And she went 3 days before that, and from the airport she says, मेरे को स्टूडियो ले चलो. I said, नहीं, आप होटल जाके थोड़ा आराम कीजिए. नहीं. We went to the studio and AR received her, and straight away, let's hear the composition. She heard the composition, we all know what the song became, and then she said, can I rehearse it? Can you give it to me on a cassette? You know, she belonged to a generation where you would hear it on a cassette player. Yeah, you know, a Walkman. So 3 days in a hotel room, she would go back and forth, all that. And on the 4th day when she came for the final recording, we had arranged a mic for her like this, and there were some flowers, a bottle of hot water and glass. So she came and said, ये mic इतना नीचे क्यों है? उसको थोड़ा ऊपर कीजिए ना. We said, no, but you know, you can sit and record. He said, नहीं, मैं बैठ के गाना, खड़े होके गाना गा सकती हूँ. And then she started singing and jamming with AR. And because AR was doing the sargam, so he was singing along from the inside room. And he was adding his own lyrics because it's a give and take song. You know, you just can't have one artist perform and the other not perform. And she refused to sit down on the chair for the next 8 or 10 hours. She was standing till the song was over.
लुका छुपी बहुत हुए, सामने आ जाना.
This is very nice.
And in the age of digital recording, where quite often if something goes offbeat, or you want to stress a word, or you want to sing it slightly differently, you punch it in. Because digitally you can do now be non-linear. But she insisted she would sing the whole paragraph again. Not just that one word or one line. She would sing all the 4 lines or 6 lines again. And for me, I was standing in between greatness on both sides of me. And just wondering like a child in Disney World.
We lost Lata ji recently. As someone who worked with her, how do you take this? And has she actually gone?
Matlab, where has Lata Mangeshkar gone? She's gone nowhere. She was there with us before I was born. So she was in my past. She was all through in my present. She'll always be in my future. I will be dusted and gone and she'll still be there. Lata Mangeshkar lives forever. She will never be gone. So, it makes you believe in things like immortality. Yes, some last rites have been performed as per the rules of the society for a body, but to confine her to a physical form will be, I don't think so we can do that. I don't know whether it is that. It cannot be. There was Lata Mangeshkar in our life. We didn't get up in the morning and have breakfast together. But she was still such a huge part of her life. And she'll remain that. So, where has she gone? Nowhere. In fact, she is more part of us now than she was ever.
Coming back to Luka Chuppi, why do you think it became such an iconic song?
You know, it's there are songs and then there are songs. This song was an experience which was afterlife, and the male voice, which is AR's, belongs to Madhavan, who is no more, whose only his presence or his soul is what we can feel. It's not somebody lip syncing it. So, how do you give a voice to that? All you can give is your feelings.
Rakeysh ji, a song for funeral ceremony became a song of liberation, a conversation between a mother and her dead son. It took this shape because of Rahman's own relationship with his mother, or did it have something to do with you as well? I believe in her last days, your mother was suffering, and you asked doctors to pull the ventilator's plug out and liberate her of her sufferings. Did your relationship with your mom also contributed to Luka Chuppi?
We are all very close to our mothers, and they are always there for us. They never leave us. So to feel that you are talking to your mother through this song, in itself, that cleanses you, and that cleanses the entire process. That you're there in a very pure, a very white environment, and it's a very glowing environment. And it's you are not even there. You are invisible, as if you've been, consumed by that whiteness. Most certainly, AR brought his own feelings in. Most certainly.
Luka Chuppi was also longlisted for Oscars as Best Original Song. Do you think it deserved to win?
Oh, and why not? I think it's a piece of work. It's a piece of contribution to the world of music, which deserves everything. And more than the Oscars is the love of the listener. How it entered the soul. And I can't tell you how many people I meet even today across the world. And for them, Luka Chuppi and Rehna Tu is a song where they go to in the moment of when they need that spiritual support, when life is beating them down, or they are sad, or they have lost something or someone, and just to stand up back on their feet. And that's what AR has given them.
Rang De Basanti was India's official entry for the Oscars in 2007. It was nominated for the British Academy Film Awards. In India, it won 4 national awards, 6 Filmfare, 11 IFA and 7 Screen Awards. A.R. Rahman swept all the awards as the Best Music Director. The film revolves around a dark subject, yet Rang De Basanti's music has stood the test of time.
For us, Rang De Basanti was always a very liberating subject. It was a voice and it had to come out of us collectively, and we had to collaborate, as I had to tell the story and create the pictures, and he had to create the music and the sound, which complemented or juxtaposed each other. So here you see the opening of the film, and Rajguru, Bhagat Singh and Sukhdev are walking to the gallows, their last walk, the last mile, and the noose is put around their neck and the black cloth is put, and the music is rock.
ये अंत कहाँ है, Mr. McKinley?
It is an expression of rebellion. It is an expression of extreme patriotism. And more than that, it's an expression of sacrifice.
ये तो शुरुआत है.
There is no rhetoric, nobody is shouting anything, nobody is saying Inqilab Zindabad, nobody is saying, going to the gallows, singing a song or anything. They're going very silently. Because now you're going to cross over to a higher realm. You're going to the next phase. Your soul is going to travel. Your body will be left behind. And that is the feeling one wanted.
It's time.
All this happens to you when you work with AR. Because working with him also, you, more than expressing yourself outwardly, you deep dive inside yourself. Because the purity, the spirituality of his approach, the hard work he puts in, inspires you to follow steps.
How can this be your will?
Here, Rang De Basanti captured the mood and the frustration of the youth, and it sounded totally different from whatever you had done till that point. Tell us something about that.
I think it was a period when I had gone out for Bombay Dreams and I've lost touch almost with our Indian audience. And then I started doing all this freedom fighter movies like Mangal Pandey, Orchestral. So I was feeling a bit, am I getting old? and what's happening? And of course, it's creatively, it's moving towards another thing, but it's not connecting me with my younger audiences. So when I met Rakeysh and then I met Prasun Joshi, who's like another great poet. So the urge for me was to be different from what I would do, because some of the sounds became similar in other people started adapting certain sounds, and there's amazing other composers who came in who did great stuff. So I was trying to define my identity in a way and move away from things which everybody has to. When people grow, they have to move away from things which they cling on to into newer things. So it was again back to the searching mode. What could we do with this movie? And the movie was dark in a way, because all the kids die in the end, and why should you see this movie? And it's got something, but it's also a very risky movie. So I was constantly trying to gravitate towards, as a team, we were trying to gravitate towards what would make this this soundtrack so addictive, and what would make it close to the movie too. And so the whole soundtrack, almost 70% of the 70-80% of the soundtrack finished in 2 weeks. All the ideas I gave, and I got lyrics from Prasoon, and we finished it. And then I was thinking of, why can't we do a song with Lata ji for this, and do something completely opposite to the, and that's when Luka Chuppi came in. So that's one of the another experience which I would never forget.
लुका छुपी बहुत हुए, सामने आ जाना.
Luka Chuppi featured Lata Mangeshkar and A.R. Rahman singing together for the first time. Rahman also opted for unusual singers and interesting pairings. Naresh Iyer, he won the National Award as Best Playback Singer for Rubaru. Blase, a specialist in writing and singing rap music. K.S. Chitra, who sang the title song along with Daler Mehendi.
Daler was never meant to sing the song, but as the tune evolved and we tried something, the punch was missing. It was feeling like a song, but it was not feeling like a soldier who's going out to sacrifice his life for the country. I didn't feel like the rusticness in it. It was too rounded, and I kept telling AR, I'm feeling I'm not getting as if I am going out there to protect my land. We need a more rustic, more Khalbali in it. And I kept repeating that word. More Khalbali in it, more rustic. But it has to be, at the same time, I'm going to sacrifice my life for the country. It has to be that kind of feeling of giving everything away. The name Daler Mehendi came up. I actually said Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. If somehow we can get Nusrat Bhai to sing this song. But there was no access to him. So we called Daler Paji, and Daler Paji came all the way from Delhi next evening. I was sitting in the room. I had long locks of hair, and I was on my laptop. I didn't want to come between the singer and the composer. So I didn't even introduce myself to him. So then he ordered some dinner. So I heard the order, and I was also feeling hungry. And he ordered a mix of Chinese, some Hakka noodle, and tandoori chicken. So I said, wow, आप दिल्ली वाले हो पक्का. कहते कोई, मैंने सोचा तुसी कोई फ्रेंच डायरेक्टर बैठे हो, तुम कौन हो? मैंने कहा मैं ये रंग दे बसंती का डायरेक्टर हूँ, आप टाइटल गाना गाने वाले हो इसका, तो खाना खाते हैं पहले. So we went back to our Delhi days, spoke. In the meantime, AR popped in, song is ready, come. And Daler did this to his mustache, all that, went in, and in a single take he rolled out the song. By which time I narrated the whole story to him. I told him about Bhagat Singh, he knew all about it. Told him about Chandrasekhar Azad, Ram Prasad Bismil, Ashfaqullah Khan. Spoke about the great sacrifices, the French resistance as such of the youngsters who gave up their life, all about that. And being a Sikh, he had tears in his eyes and he told me about the sacrifice of all his gurus and how they sacrificed their own children. And I said, that is the song, Daler Paji. You've taken I could not express it. And we are talking about sacrifice, celebrating death and celebrating sacrifice. Once that feeling happened, the song happened.
थोड़ी सी धूल मेरी धरती की मेरे वतन की थोड़ी सी धूल मेरी धरती की मेरे वतन की थोड़ी सी खुशबू बवराई सी मस्त पवन की थोड़ी सी रौनने वाली धक 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 सांसें जिनमें हो जुनून वो बूंदे लाल लहू की ये सब तू मिला मिला ले फिर रंग तू खिला खिला ले ये सब तू मिला मिला ले फिर रंग तू खिला खिला ले और मोहित रंग दे बसंती यारा मोहित रंग दे बसंती.
Rakeysh ji, besides Luka Chuppi, another song in the running for Oscar was Khalbali Hai Khalbali. I believe you had to shoot the song, but you didn't have the song. What was that?
Oh yes. So again, there was no song situation, and I'm shooting in Jaipur, and we are picturizing the other stuff. So I call AR and I say, "Hey man, where are you?" He said, "I'm in London right now." So I said, I have this thing going, and I think I've reached a point in a film where these boys are feeling liberated. They are feeling very moved from within. These were kids who were only concerned about going to college, coming back to college, getting their job, making them millions, flying to America for further studies, just conforming to what has been told to them. But now something else has happened. A new spirit has moved inside them, and this is the spirit of the youngsters of the 20s who were rebels, and it's disturbing them. So there is a storm inside them which is building up, and they are going crazy. And I'm gonna picturize them going crazy. They're gonna behave crazy, they're gonna dance like crazy, they're gonna twirl like crazy, nothing choreographed, nothing distinctively choreographed or underlined as such. Unfortunately, I could not give him much time. So he said, "When are you shooting it?" I said, "Maybe if you give me something tonight, tomorrow morning." So it didn't happen the next morning, but it happened the morning after. And AR had was passing through, and he heard this voice in a nightclub in London, and he composed Ya Ali. And there, in those no internet connection days, he sent a file which was not really very heavy. It was an audio file, but there was no internet. So we found this internet cafe. There used to be this cafe called Java cafes. Woke up the guy middle of the night because it came from London late. I was shooting early in the morning, and my assistants were downloading. And AR did share a 3-minute piece, and all we could download was 1 minute and 10 seconds. I distinctively remember, 70 seconds. So I put that on the loop, and we went crazy shooting the next day. And there were no lyrics, there was nothing, but it was great fun.
1996, Rakeysh Omprakash Mehra and scriptwriter Kamlesh Pandey worked on a feature film script, Young Guns of India. It focused on the heroes of Indian armed resistance against the might of the British Empire. 10 years later, it became Rang De Basanti. The script now married the past with the present realities of the 21st century India.
एक पैर पास में तो एक पैर फ्यूचर में, तभी तो हम आज पे मूत रहे हैं।
Rakesh ji, the film kept intercutting between the past and the present. The past that had its values and commitments, and the present that carries hope for tomorrow. Do you think the music of Rang De Basanti did justice to this thought?
The movie was non-linear in a grammar, in a storytelling, and I was improvising a lot while I was shooting, and Bharti was improvising a lot when she was editing. A lot of magic also happened on the table. The music not only underlined it, it kind of took it to a sublime level. So there is a sequence in the film where they drop their friend in Old Delhi in the area of Jama Masjid. A friend is Aslam, played by Kunal. His father is Ompuri, and he gives him a dressing down. Then the elder brother takes on him to say ki, he has all these friends who are like from the different religion, and Aslam being a modern day youth, for him it's about friendship, it's not about religion. You don't choose your friends because they belong to a certain religion. And that's where Rang De Basanti becomes so relevant today.
तुम्हें अपनी कौम में दोस्त नहीं मिलते, बस यही मिलते हैं गैर मजहबी जो तुम्हें तबाह करने पर आमादा हैं.
So I'm coming back to a piece of music which underlined the moment. So now there's a lot of turmoil inside Aslam. As the worlds he is living in, he's living in a very old kind of thinking which South Asia is subjected to, irrespective of whether you're a Muslim or a Hindu. Even within Hindus, whether you're a Brahmin or a scheduled caste, you're a tribal or a upper caste or a lower caste, all that happens, and it happens rampantly. So this turmoil became a very loud, percussive beat, and he leaves the scene and he walks fast and he climbs up the staircase. It keeps rising. The volcano is about to explode. He opens the door and we enter 1924 in the past, and suddenly the music abruptly turns into a santoor from that percussive, so that fusion, and they're planning the Kakori train robbery.
शहीदों की मज़ारों पर लगेंगे हर बरस मेले, वतन पर मिटने वालों का बाकी निशान होगा.
So now you see what has happened. An extremely painful moment for a Muslim boy who's facing not only discrimination in the society, but within his family of his choices of his friends. Rather being treated in a sarangi or a sitar or a santur, which can give a human pain to it, AR gave it percussion. And when you open the door and you enter the past, they're planning a great train robbery where they're gonna loot right under the noses of the British Empire.
लखनऊ जाने वाली ट्रेन जिसमें फिरंगियों का पैसा जाता है, उसे हम ठीक 8 दिन बाद काकोरी में लूटेंगे.
These 5 kids, this should have been dramatic. No, this is santur, this is soft. And it's his, his mind works, nobody knows. We should not get there. That is something should be left alone as such. And I don't have such an intellect to analyze how does AR work. But the sound he creates enters my soul, I know for sure.
Doing things that are unexpected and going against the tide. This is what Rebellious attitude is all about. The song I Am a Rebel Masti Ki Pathshala too reflects that. Tell us, how did you decide on the treatment and tone of this song? And how did Blase, a rapper, became a part of it?
In the script, I had written something, I'm a rebel. I said, hey, I like that, I'm a rebel. It's got a nice ring to it. And he just created a song, I'm a rebel. AR introduced me to Blase, and we didn't have rap numbers in a film, in movies those days, as such. So he just left us in a room, and you know how a master chef would put 2 ingredients into a kadai, put it on low fire and put the lid on it and walk away, come back after 2 hours for it to make itself. So I took Blase through the entire script, not the song. I spoke to, and then he wrote the rap version of it first. Once he got that right, when the tune form, Prasun wrote and sprinkled gold dust all over the rest of the song, how he related it to the generation. Yeah.
It took 7 years of research and 3 years to write the script of Rang De Basanti. But even before the script was written, Rahman composed a track for its climax. Its singer, Naresh Iyer, received the National Award as Best Playback Singer.
Rakeysh, I believe Rahman had seen your first film, Aks, and really liked it also. And then you had shown him some storyboards which finally became Rang De Basanti. Is it correct?
It was a dream to make this film, and there were some rough squiggles, I won't call it storyboards, which I had done, and which I just shared with him, this is how I'm feeling, and he made some sense out of it. The energy that I got back from him and the conviction he passed on to me that you must make this film. It was at that time, no film is easy to make, even when you're trying to say something which is not been said before and trying to say it in a completely different grammar. But AR is a master of that. And one day he came with a track and not a song, which became the soul of my film. And he gave it to me, and I stored it in my laptop. I still remember I used to carry a 17-inch Apple that time. Now, many years later, we are finishing Rang De Basanti, and it's the climax of the film. And suddenly we remember, hey, the first tune that came out of you, the revelation, how did that go? And we started hunting for the tune on the hard disk, on the system, his old systems, his laptops, everything, and we were trying to remember, and he was saying, this is how it went, but I'm still not, I'm forgetting the main refrain. And fortunately, when I went into the hard disk of my laptop, somewhere we could find it hiding. And that became the tune for the climax of Rang De Basanti. So it's amazing, something which happened not even during a narration, just a conversation of a film and the idea of the film. And what came, his first reaction, his first response to the idea of the story became the main tune in the climax of the film, and which led to the song Rubaru. In Rang De Basanti, as you know, there are 2 parallel tracks going. One by the youngsters of 1920s India, and one is a parallel track of the youngsters in today's India, more famously known as the MTV generation. Wherever they crisscross, there's a spark. And then again they travel like this, crisscross, again they travel, spark, again travel, spark, again travel. And there comes a moment in time where the lines overlap. The spirit of the revolutionaries of the 1920s have entered or merged with the spirit of the generation of today. And now both the lines are blurred and it's become one. And that is my brief to AR for Rubaru. AR being AR, he comes up with Rubaru. He sang the refrain himself. The guitar track, it's a very campfire kind of song. You know, it's more like you've gone for a college picnic and you're not there giving your lives. So that's the magic. Every time he's done something and he's created music, it has never been done before. There's a distinct signature, like a master painter has on his painting. He has on his music. You hear one symbol and you know it belongs to a AR song. I'm not even saying you hear a whole refrain. You just hear that the way the symbol has been played and you say, hey, that's an AR sound as such.
Rakeysh ji, Rang De Basanti gave India a new tool for activism. That's Candle March. Can there be a better validation for an artist's work?
Yeah, it's rare. The media termed it as the RDB effect, to wake up a generation that was sleeping. In fact, my byline was "A Generation Awakens" much before. I knew, and it was all experiential. We only spoke about things. We all sat on the fences. We never did anything. Kamlesh Pandey was writing it. The motto for us was this poetry from Sahir Ludhianvi, that बहुत दिनों से है मशगला सियासत का, बहुत दिनों से है मशगला सियासत का, कि जब जवां हो बच्चे तो कत्ल हो जाएं. We saw that happening during the Indian Revolution, French Revolution, most recently Tiananmen Square, Mandal Commission. I still remember one night I went to All India Medical Institute and we stayed up all night. I didn't know it's gonna turn so ugly. We had no clue that Rajiv Goswami is gonna immolate himself. We had no clue that scores and scores of youngsters are gonna burn themselves. I always used to share this poetry of Sahil Ludhianvi. खून फिर खून है, टपकेगा तो जम जाएगा. तुमने जिस खून को मक्तल में दबाना चाहा, आज वो कूचाए बाजार में आ निकला है. जुल्म की बात ही क्या, जुल्म की औकात ही क्या. जुल्म तो फिर जुल्म है, आगाज से अंजाम तलक. खून फिर खून है, 100 शक्ल बदल सकता है. ऐसी शक्लें, ऐसे नारे जो दबाए तो दबाए ना दबे. ऐसी शक्लें जो मिटाए तो मिटाए ना मिटे. So it was the work of great masters who had suffered oppression. We were not just emulating them, we were borrowing from them. And it was like if A.R. Rahman was to give music for Sahil Ludhianvi, what would happen? So, or if A.R. Rahman is now composing for Rabindranath Tagore, and I'm taking a huge name here, or if he was taking the poetry of Qazi Nazrul Islam and turning it into a song.
Rakeysh Omprakash Mehra, A.R. Rahman and Prasoon Joshi came together once again for Delhi 6, the year 2009. On its music, Rakeysh Omprakash Mehra continues on our next episode. Stay with us.
He refused to sit down on the chair for the next 8 or 10 hours. She was standing till the song was over. And in the age of digital recording, where quite often if something goes off beat, or you want to stress a word, or you want to sing it slightly differently, you punch it in. Because digitally you can do now be non-linear. But she insisted she would sing the whole paragraph again. Not just that one word or one line. She would sing all the 4 lines or 6 lines again. And for me, I was standing in between greatness on both sides of me. And just wondering like a child in Disney World.
Do you agree that this indeed was the moment of the day? Is your choice different? Whatever your mind says, write it in the comments section below. We will be waiting. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, press the bell icon and stay entertained.